Heavy weights are definitely not for men. It's for everyone. Diabetes is just a part of you. It's not the entire you, right? Because once you start saying stuff like, oh, I can't do this because I'm diabetic, that's when you're setting limitations on yourself. As a diabetic, your sugars will be better regulated. Take it from me, it's a personal experience. Trust me, I do lift heavy and I'm not bulky, and that is just not true. If that was true, trust me, so many of us would be walking around like, don't let diabetes control you, because then you will not live life. And what is life if you don't live it? So I think during my prep, it's way easier to manage my diabetes, and my sugars are way controlled because there's also cardio and there is strength training too. Because bodybuilding has taught me one thing: it's not how big or how ripped you are, it's how you eat up the stage. Trust yourself. Okay, it's very easy to give up. I see a lot of athletes give up mid-competition because they cannot do it, they cannot commit. I think it's high time we look beyond that. Yeah. Hi, I'm Neha. I am born and brought up in Bangalore. I am a lot of things. I do a lot of things. I am a marketer, I'm a bodybuilder, and I'm also a type 1 diabetic. So I have a 9 to 5 job, and 5 to 9 I do my bodybuilding. So I do manage both of them, but it gets tiring, especially when in prep and all of that. It does get tiring, but I think I'm married to bodybuilding, and my marketing is my baby. My marketing job is my baby, so I can't really pick and choose. I love both of them. I'm professional in two things: marketing and bodybuilding. So I love it. I love both of it. During my bodybuilding prep, right, it's way easier to manage my diabetes than when I'm doing my off seasons, because during my off seasons I eat anything, but during my prep, my every gram of food is measured, my carbs are very controlled. So I think during my prep, it's way easier to manage my diabetes, and my sugars are way controlled because there's also cardio and there is strength training too. But the exhaustion of doing that is very, very real. It's very draining. But I think taking one step at a time, taking one day at a time. The lows during my prep are insane. It's bad when I go low, but it's still, properly regulated, and I, have some carbs and all of that. So that's okay. But during my prep, it's actually easier to manage my diabetes than when I'm, bulking or when I'm on off season. So yeah. But again, it's just one step at a time. Slow and steady wins the race. So yeah. I want to know what is for diabetic patients then. That's absolutely a bunch of BS. Gym is for everyone, irrespective you have cancer, you have diabetes, you have breathing problems, whatever. Consult your doctor, hit the gym, you will feel better, your health will be better regulated. As a diabetic, your sugars will be better regulated. Take it from me, it's a personal experience. And that's absolutely false. Gym is for everybody, for every gender, for every condition, and it's just for everyone. It's a very welcoming place, so no judgment here. Everyone is here working on their body, working really hard. So I don't think we should draw those boundaries that gym is for so and so, gym is not for so and so. I think it's high time we look beyond that. Yeah. So when I'm on my prep, when I'm prepping for a competition, it's mostly steady state cardio that I do for about 30 minutes a day, and I do it on an incline treadmill. That's about it. So my cardio is mostly steady state. It's not a lot of HIIT and all of that, but just steady state. I feel like if I do HIIT, I will die because I'm already on deficit. Okay, I don't have energy. I have to also strength train and do cardio. So I think it's the most doable thing. And even when I'm in office, my office is like on the 9th floor. So I make sure to take the stairs every day. So that really helps during my prep, and even off season. It's just nice to build stamina. So yeah, it's mostly steady state cardio. That's about it. Yeah. And deficit. Eating in deficit. 100%, because diabetes is just a part of you. It's not the entire you, right? Because once you start saying stuff like, oh, I can't do this because I'm diabetic, that's when you're setting limitations on yourself. I try not doing that, because I think first 10 years of my diabetes was all like that. Like, oh, I can't travel because of my diabetes. I can't do sports because of my diabetes. But that flipped, and that is still flipping because it's flipping slowly. So yeah, I mean, don't let diabetes control you, because then you will not live life. And what is life if you don't live it? So yeah, 100%. Because once you take control, not only of your diabetes, of your life, you start controlling your diabetes, right? So yeah. My diet routine is honestly, it's balanced. Okay, I do eat everything. I wouldn't say, oh, it's a very high protein, low carb diet, because I would die if that was my diet. I'm also a human at the end of the day, but it's balanced. My carbs are a little high. I don't cross 200 grams of carbs a day. It's all less than 200 grams. My protein intake is 150 grams, and my fiber intake is 30 to 40 grams. So, and my fats is also 30 grams. So I think that's a very balanced approach to nutrition and all of that. So I think when it comes to being diabetic, carbs are the only thing that goes, here and there, a little, like 10 plus minus 10 to 20 grams. Because when I go low, I need more carbs, but when I'm high, I don't need that much carbs. So I think that's the only thing that goes here and there. But honestly, it's all balanced. It's just normal. So yeah. Yes, there is one exercise that I strictly avoid because I'm diabetic, is giving advice to other diabetics to not do this and that, honestly. Because just because of your diabetes, you don't have to restrict something. With respect to diet also, with respect to exercise also. So it's a very nice workout plan to follow. But personally, I don't not do something because I'm diabetic. I do everything. I train like a normal person. More than a diabetic, I train like a real bodybuilder. And I think that's what has made a very big impact on my diabetic life too. So yeah. I would be lying if I said no. Of course, sleep is very important, irrespective of if you're a bodybuilder or not. But if you're talking about bodybuilding, you have to get minimum 6 to 7 hours of sleep every night. It's like, you can't even argue with that. Because let's say you're on prep, you will be so exhausted. Oh my God, when I was on prep, I was exhausted all the time. During my prep time, I don't think 7 hours of sleep is enough, because I'm on deficit. I'm so exhausted. I definitely need like 12 hours of sleep when I'm on prep. But yes, sleep is very important, especially for bodybuilders, because you need your brain to heal, your muscles to heal, and that's when muscle growth happens. So yes, sleep is very important. It's when you rest, it's when you wake up refreshed. So yeah, can't even argue with that. Trust me, I do lift heavy and I'm not bulky, and like that is just not true. If that was true, trust me, so many of us would be walking around like, but it's absolutely not true. Building muscle is tough, and if the more you lift, the more fibers you develop. So that is good. It does not make you bulky. It makes you look toned, but just not bulky. So that is a way different science. Not true. Myth. So muscle does not turn into fat when you stop exercising. When you stop exercising and when you stop eating properly, you do lose muscle, okay? And you gain fat. Fat turning into muscle or muscle turning into fat is just not, it just doesn't happen. You don't expect water to turn into wine, right? Only Jesus can do that, but you don't expect that. So those are two different, substances. And when you stop exercising, you lose muscle. You don't, it doesn't convert. So that is absolutely not true. And yeah, I think many people don't know this, but this is what happens. You lose muscle, but you start gaining fat. So that's what happens when you stop exercising, when you stop being physically active. That's the science behind it. Are you sure about that? Because I see so many women lift and be so strong. So heavy weights are definitely not for men. It's for everyone. Same goes with protein too. There's no protein for women. I don't think gym equipments are very gender biased. It's for everyone. So is protein, so are supplements. So don't fall for it. Heavy weights are for everyone, and I think women should be lifting heavier now. It's high time. And I feel like still there is that, oh, as a woman, I can't lift heavy. I have to lift less because, again, I look too bulky. But that is absolutely not true. I lift heavy and I'm still not bulky. Where is my bulk? Where it's not coming. But that, don't fall for it. It's absolutely not true. Lift heavy weights. Do it. It'll feel good. You will be good. You'll feel confident. It's a very empowering feeling. Top 3 advices. Don't listen to random people. Because when I was on prep, random people from my gym came and gave me advice as to how I should approach my comps and, my posing and my prep and all of that. So you have your coaches, stick to your coaches. Your coach is the only one that can tell you what to do, right? Second would be trust yourself. Okay, it's very easy to give up mid-comps. I see a lot of athletes give up mid-competition because they cannot do it, they cannot commit. But don't give up. Just stay at it. Trust me, it will be worth it. It will be worth it. Trust yourself. I know life gets tough when you're on preps because you see a lot of people go for lunches and like dinners and brunches. Go, but take your meals with you. It's going to hurt, but it's all going to be worth it. Just trust me. Third is don't cheat. It's very easy to cheat, but I know the temptation is real, but it'll work out. Trust me, it'll work out. So stay put, be consistent, and enjoy the process because someday you're gonna look back and be like, oh my god, I did it. So just don't give up. Trust the process, one step at a time, and listen to your coach. Yeah. I think it all started when I was in college. I had a lot of time and I was really skinny. I was like a toothpick back in college. So I thought, what, okay, even my sister was like, just go join the gym and it'll help you and stuff. So I joined the gym and fun fact, I kind of got shamed for liking chest workouts a little too much by the trainer there. That's when I'm like, yeah, you know what, screw you, no. But I think that's where I fell in love with the journey. Every day, no matter what, I showed up. But it wasn't until 3 years of just working out just like that I started bodybuilding. Bodybuilding started way later, right? How I started bodybuilding is I was unemployed back in 2023. I just randomly started learning how to pose for bodybuilding. And I think that's where it started. That's when I'm like, okay, cool, you know what? I have this thing. So I think it started with posing and then I got into a proper a bodybuilding plan and then I got under my coach and then we started working together. And it's been 2 years doing, competitive bodybuilding or doing professional bodybuilding now. So it's been a fun journey.